Thank you for joining us on our journey here to preserve the history of mixed martial arts. When I wanted to take on this project, I needed help. I brought in one of my favorite matchmakers, Miguel, and the MMA detective, Mike Davis. So to do this, we've been able to preserve history. Welcome and enjoy.
Miguel Iterati, back here with the LytesOut Podcast. As always, I am joined by the MMA detective, Mike Davis. Chris Lytle is off in bare knuckle land, and we are on assignment, another deep dive, and we are we're looking up and looking at Semmy Schilt, and we're literally in heady territory again here. A legend of K1, really an MMA legend from the early days as well. Two different careers, almost two different 50 Fight Club members. This guy has an epic career, and Mike is going to take us through the K1 stuff with him, and we're very happy to be joined by Semmy Schilt. Semmy, how are you?
Yeah, I'm fine, man. Yeah.
Terrific. Nice to meet you, man. Before we get into the K1 stuff, we like to start with asking you about your youth. How did you get into the fight sports and things? I noticed officially your first fight is in Japan in 1996. I bet you fought in Holland a couple of times too. So why don't you tell us some stories from the young days?
Yeah, from my early days, I did karate. I started with Kickboxing karate, and then I went to Ashihara karate. That's a different style. In this style, you can grab, you can make the knees, and this is where the knees in my later career come from. This is from the Ashihara karate because we had close combat. From close, I could use my knees, and I was doing the competitions in Holland. It was really, regional fights. And at one point, I also went to England to participate in the tournament there. And from there on, it grows. And I got the invitation to fight in Japan for the first time.
I see. At what point did you realize, were you physically a big kid also? Were you always bigger than everybody else?
No, I was a big kid when I was younger, and when I got into puberty, I was a little bit late. So then the guys, they came up to my size, and then after puberty, I grow. After their puberty, I grow again. So that's when I get my size. It was later on, yeah.
Okay, cool. And when did you get discovered? Was it Bas Boon who found you? What was your connection to Japan? And we'll let Mike take over.
I was competing here in Holland in various competitions. Then at one time, John Blooming, he's also a karate legend. He had connections in Japan, and he wanted to bring me to Japan. So and this is how I got to Japan the first time. He took me to Japan, and I fought the first time I was in Japan for a Dairyuku. It's now Kudo karate, Kudo. The first time I went, I lose. So then they say, they make invitation for next year because they think, this tall guy we can beat, and he can come next year also. And then I came up the next year and become champion.
Okay, so you were 22 when you fought in Pancrase. You had already been to Japan competing as a karateka.
Yeah, 2 times. Yeah.
Okay.
I was 2 times in Japan before that.
Wow. And you had 12 years in MMA, and then a whole new career starts. Mike, take over.
Yeah, this is where it gets interesting. So first and foremost, Semmy, when you physically write something, is it with your left hand or your right hand?
I'm a left hand.
Okay, it's exactly what I thought. So in essence, Semmy, you have got more knockouts with your jab, and it's because you're a converted orthodox fighter. You're actually a southpaw fighter fighting a right-hand style.
Yeah, but when I started karate, well, we had to do it like left leg forward. So this is I grew up like this, and later I discovered, okay, my I got a hard punch. Yeah, it's the left, it's not the jab. But I also tell my students at this time, also if you're right-handed, a jab is to feel the distance, to feel. Why do you feel if you know the distance? And so you have to be a little bit more confident, step in and make the punch for real, because if you hit it, it's a good hit. A jab, it's an irritating punch, but a punch, you have a problem with that.
I think a lot of people maybe didn't understand that that you were converted Orthodox? Because your left or your jab just destroyed people. Like it was your most devastating attack outside of your leg kicks.
Yeah, maybe, yeah. It was good. I did not use my right a lot, but later on in my career, I used my right hand because then I get to the right hand.
So take us through the politics. You end your MMA career.
Well,
You
here it is.
signed
Miguel, I got
K1.
it. I got that question. So you're with mixed martial arts, particularly Pride. They do a co-promotion where you fight Ernesto Hoost in your second K1 fight.
Yeah.
Did they buy your contract out after that fight? How does that connection happen?
No, they did not buy me out. They were friends. Pride and K1 were friends. No, you cannot imagine that, you know. And I was they needed an MMA fighter to fight in the K1 style, and that was me. And it was nothing about the contracts. I have no idea of. You know, I just had the same contract. Okay, I fight there. Okay, I fight. So actually, the first fight I fought Musashi in the first fight in the K1. I had gloves for 16 ounce. They give me 16-ounce gloves, and he fight with 10-ounce gloves because they didn't fit my hand. You know, I have such big hands. Yeah. It was, and then for us, it was okay. Yeah, you don't have other gloves. Yeah, okay, I take this one. I even didn't have bandage on my hands.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you fought with the Pride contract in K1.
Yeah.
That is wild.
Yeah.
So you're with your bout with Musashi. It was at K1 Burning, April 21st, 2002. You guys had fought 2 times.
Yeah.
Your second time fighting him, it seemed like you were a little easier on him than you normally were your other opponents.
Yeah, not consciously.
Okay.
Not consciously. No. It was in Vegas. I remember it was in Vegas. Yeah.
Okay.
No.
No,
but I got respect for these guys. You know, they're standing in the ring and you fight with them. You know, so this is something I believe in.
Yeah. So your fight with Ernesto Hoost, were you surprised that they threw you in the deep end so quick? Did it bother you mentally?
What?
Your second fight in K1 was with Ernesto Hoost.
Yeah.
Mentally, what was that like taking a fight with that magnitude?
That's funny, you know, because I did not watch the other fights of the other fighters, you know. I did not have many interest. I just fought my fight. And then if there's a big tournament, they say, you're fighting in a tournament with for example, Freddy or with Mark Coleman. Then I said, who is he? You know, what do you think of this? And then the interview asked me, what do you think of this and this fight? I said, I don't know. I have the fight card and I'm the 8th fight. This is my fight, and the rest I don't care. I just want to win my fight. And what other fighters do, I don't give a shit, for real. You know, so I know Ernesto Hoost was a big champion, but I thought, okay, if they want to match me against him, then it should be okay. And at that time also, Ernesto came back from America. He fought Norte. And my manager, he knew he won Norte, he won easy with low kicks. And my manager said, okay, he's coming back to Holland, and then from Holland he goes to Japan. He said he will be fucked with the jet lag. This is something he underestimated you big time. And then we start fighting, and I only think, okay, he fight a big guy, he win with low kicks, he's gonna try to do it again. Yeah, but I'm not Norte, so I just prepared for blocking his low kick. In the first round, we start, I only checking, I want to block the low kick, because I know if he makes a low kick and he hits my block, it's a mental thing for him, because he's Mr. Perfect. He make always the low kicks like he's killing guys with this. So in this time I could block him, and then the fight, it was in a draw. It ended in a draw, and then Ernesto told me like, yeah, I'm sorry, man. And then I looked at him. Yeah, it's not your fault. For me, it's okay. And then later, after this fight, we went into the bus. You know, we go to the event. We go in separate buses, and in the way back, yeah, you take the bus who's there, because otherwise you maybe miss it or you never be in the hotel. So I was in the same bus as Ernesto in the way back, and then he told me, next time you should be more easy on me. Then I said, yeah, next time I'm gonna beat you. And this was mentally so good for me, because Ernesto was already 3-time champion at that time. He was 3-time champion at that time. So
Yeah,
for me, it was really, I think, okay, if I can fight like this against a champion, then there's maybe kickboxing is good for me.
Well, let me set the table. At this point, Ernesto Hoost, it's Pride Shockwave, August 20, 2002. It's a co-promotion. It's K1 and Pride. They're getting in bed together. If you had beat Ernesto Hoost at that fight, like at that event, it would have been a major victory for Pride. And I think that they were afraid to do it, because you absolutely won that fight. I think you lost round 4, but rounds 1, 2, 3, and 5 were clearly yours.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. But yeah, you know, when sometimes that's probably why Ernesto said, I'm sorry, man, I cannot help it, you know? So he knows. And I know I had a good fight, and for me it was good anyway. You know, to get the draw was for me also a victory.
Was this a spot where you decided I'm staying with K1?
No, not yet. I think after that was a tournament in the Pride. They got a tournament in Pride also. I believe it was like a tournament with one fight in a night, but then different events behind each other. And of course, I liked the K1. I liked the kickboxing, but I still, I liked the Pride. But what I liked about the K1 more is they have a tournament. They have an end. You know, in the Pride and in the MMA, it was one fight against this one, and then you fight what the audience wants, or I don't know how they decide this. But in the K1, it was really like you could really go up. You could really qualify for a tournament and then fight the tournament. And this was what I really liked.
Okay. The structure.
All right, so let me encapsulate this. Ernesto Hoost at this point has got 100+ fights. This is Semmy's second K1 fight. You're still adjusting to, I guess, the fighting style, but also I think what threw Ernesto was you've got this giant human being, but he's moving forward and aggressively going forward, to where 99% of the time, most people with the size and length that Semmy has, they're sitting back on their heels and they're just counterpunching. It's the exact opposite of what anybody would train for, looking at the size and height of Semmy.
Yeah.
Where does your aggressive style come from?
I don't want to get my ass kicked. So we got a saying here, you know, throw the first punch. You have to throw the first punch, you know. I like to fight forward. You know, when I step in the ring or I step on the mat, with the karate was the same. In the karate it was even different. You know, you had only 2 minutes to be stronger than your opponent. So you have to go in. I don't have time to check out the first round, because in karate, when you lose the first round, you're out. You know, so it's like the first 2 minutes you have to fight. And I think for that, I got my fighting style. I go forward. And also, actually, when I go forward, I'm more secure, you know, because I know my speed, I know what I want to do. And if I'm gonna wait for another fighter to come, then I have to wait for what he's gonna do. So I have to react really fast, and I don't know what he's gonna do. So for me, it was better to attack, because then you know what you're doing. And if you're blocking, yeah, of course you know what you're doing, but you don't know what's next. And if you attack, you know what's next. It's my attack.
What's your cardio routine?
At that time, I did rowing in the machine, and a lot of running on the windmill or the treadmill, and a lot of stair climbers. Yeah.
Because a lot of times, a person of your size, they have issues with their knees. You didn't seem to have that.
Now I have.
No.
No, I think I was really also blessed with a strong body. I think my body was you could
Durable.
handle the training. Yeah, durable. Yeah,
It's very durable.
So
Yeah.
sometimes now I also trained like a football club here in FC Groningen. I see the young guys, you know, the football players, the soccer players, but this is a different style. But still, they have problems with the knees, and then they still have to become the top player, you know, to become the professional player. So I think I was blessed with a good body, for sure.
So your third fight, K1 final elimination, you beat Andy Hoog student Michael McDonald. You win by decision. So you're still kind of adjusting to the style, but you don't fight in the 2002 Grand Prix, even though you had that amazing showing against Ernesto Hoost. Were you not invited?
I was not invited to the party. Yeah, 2002. Yeah, that's for sure. At that time, they couldn't get it well with each other. You know, Pride and K1 had a few issues, and for that reason, I could not participate in the tournament. They throw me out, and actually they buy me out. So I got a good price for this also. Okay. So that I could not participate.
Huh.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah, this is what's happening in the big organization, you know.
Yeah.
So
there.
Go ahead, Miguel. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to ask. Will you share with us a dollar figure? How much you talking about? Only because.
Nah,
okay.
It was more than my fight money.
Okay.
Really?
Yeah. Because I imagine that up the two big guys, the Japanese, there was more money exchanged than that. You know what I mean? So it's big money.
I think so, but with money wise, I think I had a good management, but I think there could maybe a bit more. But this is you know, afterwards you talk and you know these times were very different at this moment. But at that time it was a good deal. It was a good deal, and also when the organization don't want you to participate, and you will participate, you will get fucked. You know,
exactly.
one way or the other, you know, you're not gonna make it. So then it's better to take, we take a step back and let you decide what you want, and then we'll see again.
Good idea.
Here's a little bit of money to take a pass. Now, you mentioned management. Bas Boon, was he your manager at this time?
Yes.
How did you connect with him?
He was in the team, the Golden Glory. He was in Golden Glory, and the Golden Glory came up to me when I was fighting in Pancrase, and they offered they want me to join the team, and then they would talk. They would talk also about money, of course, and then they say you can get 10 times your fight money you get now. Then I say yeah. Then they show the contract. Then I fought for the UFC for one time first. For that, I go to the UFC from the Pancrase, and then they did what they say. So my fight purse went big time up, and then I was in the Golden Glory.
So Bas Boon is one of those Dutch super managers. Like his lineup of fighters is incredibly impressive. Does he only deals with Golden Glory though? Am I correct?
Yes, at that time, yes.
He was like based out of their gym.
Yeah.
Who were some of the sparring partners that really helped push you in the gym at Golden Glory?
I had my own sparring partner. I was training in Zuid-Laren with Dave Jonkers, and I had one sparring partner with Jelle.
So Dave Jonkers was your main trainer, just for everybody else.
Main trainer, yeah. We decided we go to Glory, but I don't go to Breda every week. You know, of course I want to be the management, but the training part I did not. Yeah, I said I cannot sit in the hour, 2.5 hours to train and then go back. You know, I had my training in the morning, I train in the afternoon. I have to give my lessons I also teach the children. I teach the judo and karate in that time. So I said I cannot go to Breda every Friday or every Wednesday to do the sparring. I do my own training in Zuid-Laren. So this is what we did. I have a sparring partner, Jelle Waringa, and he basically did what he was told, you know. And what we did really good analyze the fighters. If I have to fight, for example, I have to fight Ernesto Hoost. Okay, I have to make sure I block the low kicks. I have to make sure I make the pressure. I make sure he doesn't come in the game. And this is what we trained. We said, okay, yeah, you only make low kicks. And then he started attacking with low kicks. No, so if I fight for example, for Mike Hunt or for Recefo, okay, you only throw the overhand right. Only this. Throw him as hard as you can every time. Nah. This is how we train. Because in the Golden Glory, the problem with the big team was we were all heavyweights. We were all fighting in the same division. This is not a good, in my opinion, this is not a good system because we are not helping each other. We are competing. We gotta competing each other because I want to show that I'm better than the other. And this is what I never liked. But of course, when I was in Breda, I could manage, of course. But then they say, okay, Sam, you can spar, but you cannot do the front kick. Or you can spar, but you can't throw the jab. Yeah, okay. If that's the training, it's for me, it's okay. But actually, it's not fine. It's not getting the best.
How often would you train at Golden Glory then?
How often did I train? One time I went there before, it was for an MMA fight. I went there for a week. I stayed there. And otherwise, it was maybe once or 2 months, something like this. It really low, or something when they have a photo shoot or when there was a film crew coming, then say, okay, you have to come. But otherwise, no, I have my own training as a schedule, my own training plan. We did our own thing.
It's a good way to stay out of trouble because Golden Glory could be kind of rough over there, no?
Nah, you know, I don't like the way of training like that. You know, and also there are more gyms in Holland. Also, they train like that. Yeah, of course, you get great fighters, but then you only have one fighter. You know, and you have your team. You have to make all the team better, and not that I'm the punching bag for one or the other. You know, it doesn't work for me.
Okay.
Did you ever get to know Ron Nyqvist?
Yes, in the beginning period, yes.
What was he like?
Yeah, for us, he was a nice guy. Yeah, what can I say? You know.
And for other people,
he got into some trouble. But this is also, we were in the northern part of Holland. You know, we have nothing to do with all this shit. You know, this is also what was good for me.
It's another reason to stay away.
So
afterwards, yeah. But at that time, you know, it's yeah. Yeah, of course, the things that happen, you cannot talk it right, you know. But yeah, what happened, and yeah, I met him in a different way. It was different when I met him. So yeah, I'm really maybe now I call it naive, you know. But everybody is they got the chance until they mess up, you know. So yeah.
Well, you know, it happens. And with the fight game, there's many people from many different walks of life, and everyone just gets along, and you hope that they don't bring their baggage with them. Did you notice that a lot when you went to Golden Glory? Like some of the people that were there were just more hanging out or maybe working security rather than actually training to fight?
No, I don't know. No, actually, I did not have eye for that also, you know. I just want to do my thing. I have my plan. I want to be a champion. I want to be a great fighter, and nothing is going to be in my way for that, you know. So I really closed off everything to me. Yeah, I was really in a tunnel, you know. This is where I want to go. This is where I'm going.
Now, one of the things now you're sort of transitioning. You're going to K1. Holland is such a rich Muay Thai scene, like, you know, Ramon Decker. There's a trainer who's a heavyweight that I'm sure you know, Coors Hammers. I mean, did you ever run into those guys? Why did you not gravitate towards that type of training?
For example, Coors Hammers, he was the trainer of Golden Glory. He was the head trainer of Golden Glory.
Oh, okay. I got you.
I had a few trainings on the core. Yes, of course. Ramon Dekker also, he's a legend, you know, but it is a different weight class. Yeah. So, and that's why I can get along with the guys from the other weight class better than I get with the other heavyweights most of the times. You know, so of course I also meet him and we train together, but not like a regular basis or like I needed that, you know.
Okay.
Afterward I say, okay, I trained with a legend, but at that time it was just Ramon Dekkers, he was there, and I trained with him, you know.
Gotcha.
Okay. So we had talked about 2002 Grand Prix. Semmy gets paid not to go in it. Hoost actually wins. Ernesto Hoost wins the Grand Prix after losing to Bob Sapp in the opening round.
Yeah.
Bob can't continue.
Afterwards, I think this is the biggest nightmare for Ernesto. You know what happened? For him, it was better if I fought the fight. For him, it was much better. But for Ernesto, this is his, I think, is the nightmare on his career.
So you're talking about a guy with 3 fights that's fought 1 world champion. His 4th fight is against another K1 world champion, and Remy Bohasky, another fellow Dutchman as well. Yeah. Were you concerned going into this fight, or do you still have the same attitude of don't care?
Still have the attitude of I don't care. Yeah, actually, I think that stayed until the first time I became champion. Because you can also see in my fighting style is more aggressive.
Very aggressive.
Later in my career, I'm getting less aggressive. But in the beginning of my career, I was more aggressive. I was really fighting my ass off.
So Remy's out of Johnny Vo's gym. That's definitely a rival for you guys. Was there any issue between yourself and because they seem like to almost target you, and it's probably because it's just a super gym, but you get a lot of their opponents.
Of who? Of
for Johnny Vo's gym?
Oh, Johan Vos. Yeah. No, because K1 makes the decision in who's you are going to fight. So I didn't see it like that. And at that time, he was with Andre Manhart, I think, when I fought him the first time.
Okay. You also take a year off after that.
After when?
After Remy, you take a year off. You go from July 2003 K1 World Grand Prix against Remy, and then your next one is at May 20th, 2004 Showtime.
Yeah, it was again politics.
Yeah, he was finishing
up. They didn't pay me off. They just let me enter.
I'm sorry, he was back in his MMA stuff, Mike. He had MMA fights in 2003 and New Year's, and then went back to Pride. Sorry.
Yeah. But you were such a hot commodity in K1, they kind of made you go back to MMA?
Yeah.
Wow. Given a choice, what would you have rather done?
K1, of course, suited me better, but I liked the game of the MMA. I like the game, you know? And I think, of course, they easily could shoot me. The takedown defense was not my best game. That could have been better when I trained in Breda, I think, because there are some more heavy guys. They can shoot to the legs. They can make good takedowns. I trained with Fatih Kohames. I trained with him. He was also from the Golden Glory at that time. He was a good ground fighter. One time he came to before my fight against Rodrigo Nogueira. He trained with me for takedown defense. In the fight, I take the defense, but it was because I was training this with him. So I think my MMA career could have been better, but still, it was not too bad. You know, of course, they could shoot me down, but when I learned to get the distance, I was comfortable. Also on the ground, I was not uncomfortable.
Gotcha.
The May 20, 2004, you fight on Simon Rutz's show, Showtime. It's in Amsterdam against Alexey Ignashov.
Yeah.
This is the first time you appear human in the K1 ring.
It was not K1. It was like
the
K1
style.
So it's a different organization. But
yeah, I
it was in Holland. No, but it was in Holland, and Ignashov is a great fighter, and also this fight was also a lot of things after it. You know, Alexey had a fight 1 week afterward in Japan, And Bas Boon already said, Sam, if you win this fight, you will go to Japan to do the MMA fight because you knocked Alexey out and then he cannot fight. So then you have to go. There was all big plans were made already. And I step in the ring and yeah, it was not there. I have to blonde my hair. You know, they say from the manager, you have to do something, Sam. You have to be special. You have to paint your hair white. Do something about the Viking. I don't know all this shit. I said, man, let me train, let me fight. Don't let me put up a show, man. I don't want to make a show. I just want to make a fight. No, and yeah, that fight I lose with a knockout. It was a big knockout, but I was still walking. I remember I was walking out of the ring, and I was in the dressing room asking when I have to fight. So I was out. You can say that.
I think Alexey, he's one of those guys where you look at his highs in his career, he could have been an all-time great, but then he hits stumbling blocks. I think I don't know. He's inconsistent.
If you ask Bas Boon about this, you know, he say he got so bad management. His management, he make them fight so often behind each other, and the fights were not. For X, I think it's really bad because I think he could have had an even better career.
I agree.
Absolutely.
So Simon Rutz was the promoter of Showtime.
Yeah.
What was your relationship like with him?
I think we have a good relationship, but Simon is also always the other side. You know, if you have you have the Golden Glory and you have the Showtime, then of course there is some collusion between those. So Simon, actually, when I got the contract of the Golden Glory, we signed a fight against Bob Schrijber in the Showtime event. And Golden Glory, Ron Nyqvist and Bas, they come to me and say, Sam, you cannot do that fight because you have a fight in the UFC next month. I say, yeah, but we already arranged this fight. And I said, I'm going to fight. And they say, yeah, well, where's the contract? I said, I have no contract. I told I'm going to fight. So then we took this fight, and the Golden Glory was not glad with this fight because it was a little bit of risk, because Bob Schrijber, he was really a crazy guy in that time. And it was not a 100% win. It was you have to see, you know, in the fight, you have to see who's the stronger guy. And I won that fight. And after that, I go to the UFC. But it was they didn't want me to fight this fight, the Golden Glory at that time.
So Bob Schrijber, an absolute legend. We've talked about him dozens of times on this podcast. He also has a very big reputation in your country.
Yeah, yeah, he has. Yeah.
So
yeah. He came with a chair, you know, and all. Yeah, he had the little stair. They make a stair, you know, in the kitchen. You know, you have to you can be a little bit higher. So he went up. He went like this, you know, to against me. I have to look up to him. Yeah, it was a good show. And after that fight, we really had a good fight, and he did everything to win. You know, he tried to elbow me, he tried to headbutt me, he tried to kick me in the nuts, everything. And after this fight, I had won. We were in the dressing room, and then Bob Schrijber came into the dressing room. So we think, oh fuck, now we're gonna fight again. But then he said, we had a great fight, and it was absolutely amazing experience. Yeah, after that, yeah.
Yeah, Bob is a legend.
And not only is he a legend, you know, before we move on to Bob, though, so Simon Rutz, he was the owner of Black Label Fighting. It's kind of a major rival of Golden Glory. You obviously agreed to fight Alexey on his show. He made a statement that Echteld hired hitmen to kill him.
To kill who?
Simon. Simon said that Echteld, he publicly stated it. It's not like it's like he.
You know, I stay away from this shit. You know, I don't even want to know. I don't even want to know what they are doing in the. I did remember that I thought at one time my dad told me, Sam, you have to look because we're in Zuid-Laar, you know, it's a small village. He said, if you see many expensive cars and you want to cross the road, please look again. That's what he said, but that is all the advice he gave me. So I don't know about all these hitmans and all this shit.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Because I think that there should be a Netflix documentary, 1990s, early 2000s, Holland.
Then you have to talk to Bas Boon.
We tried to get him. Yeah, we
because he's writing a book. He's telling already for 10 years he's writing a book. But I think when that book is coming, it will be a bestseller because I think all the details will be in there.
Yeah.
Maybe he's waiting until he's too old or something. I don't know, or the things passed away.
Or the statute of limitations.
The years, you know, the years they cannot get him anymore or something like that. But I think there will be many big stories.
Wow. You go on, you fight Jan Norte. You got dropped in the first round. See, it's very important.
This is also good. I fought Jan Norte. Then a trainer from Golden Glory went to Zuid-Laren. He was like a Zimmerman. It was like a cousin for Errol Zimmerman. He came to Zuid-Laren because he was really good with the pads. We start training like 5 minutes. I make a Chudan Moshigiri as a kick to the body. I kick his elbow with my left foot. I break my in the middle. I break in my foot with one kick.
The bone. Okay.
Yeah, in 5 minutes in the training. Bam. Okay, he's coming from Breda to train with me here. But after that, he said, when this happened in a fight, you get 8 counts. You really have to take your time to take the counts. And when I fought Jan Norte in the first time, I kicked him with the left kick. My foot was in tape. I think my foot was in tape because actually I went with the crutches. I went to the airport, and in the airport I said, okay, I don't want to take them to Japan. I leave my crutches like here, and I take some painkiller in the airplane, and we have still 3 days before I have to fight, so it will be okay. Before the fight, they want to put like a tranquilizer in my foot. I said, no, I don't want to tranquilize. I don't want to feel. Just put the tape on it, and we'll fight. Now, then I make the kick, and while I'm kicking the front kick, I'm thinking, oh fuck, my foot is not okay. And then, but I get the punch in the head. And at that moment, I'm thinking about what Zimmerman told me. He said, you have to be relaxed, take your time, and then you can fight again. And for real, in my belief, I took the time. But if you see the footage, I fall down, I stand up, and I want to fight again. So this is really funny how it works, you know, with what you're thinking and what's actually happening. But I didn't take I take the 8 counts, and after that, he made it to the end of the round, and then at the beginning of the second round, I had him again with I think with a knee in the head. The knee in the head and some punches over it.
Well, Semmy, there's certain stages, and you've got an extensive mixed martial art career at this time, but there's certain things you have to go through in order to truly understand who you are. You get stopped with Alexey. Now you face adversity again, and you dealt with it. Like, that's super important, especially the mental aspect of that.
Yeah. You know,
and when you get dropped, you come back.
Yeah. But this is also the trainer of Jan Norte later told me, at that time, I know you're going to be the champion. When that happened, I know you're going to be the champion. When I beat Jan Norte, his trainer, it was later in 2005 when I become champion. Then he said, when you beat Jan Norte that time, I know you're going to be champion.
Because of the way you dealt with it. Yeah,
I think so. I think that's what he mean. I don't know, but this is what he said.
Very interesting. How big is Jan and you? How was the physical comparison? Was this the first time fighting a guy your size like this?
I fought one time before in karate, and also in the Glory one time. They had a big Russian guy also. I did not fight many times with really big opponents like that. So I also don't train on that. Because where can I find him? I wish I had a brother, you know. I told my father a lot. I should have a brother. But nope. No. But one time I also like it. Because then I can be more free. I have the feeling, because otherwise the target I hit is also smaller. But yeah, I like it. I'm sharp when I fight the taller guys.
It's interesting when a little guy fights you. Do you get the feeling they're always throwing 100%? Because there's that effect where I think you, like you said, you're sturdy, you can take more damage, and everybody's cutting loose on you. Does that factor into your thinking?
Yeah, maybe they shouldn't have done that. I don't know. Probably.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. So Montana Silva, you knock him out, and you finally get to a qualifier for the Grand Prix. You do the one in France. Were you told to do that one? Did you choose it?
No, I had to do it. It was like the management said, okay, we can qualify in France. Okay, let's go. We do it.
3 fights
So
in one night.
3 fights one night. And you get Petr Vondracek for the Czech Republic.
Yeah.
As your first opponent. Dude, Petr Vondracek is a stud. He's tough.
Yeah.
He dropped you in the first round.
He didn't drop me. No.
Oh, he stunned you. I apologize. Stunned you.
Yeah, maybe stunned. Yeah. I get stunned a lot. That's no problem. I tried to train on that. But he was a strong fight. But actually, all these fights, I don't know their history. And at that time, I did not check everything, especially in a tournament, you don't know what you're going to face. I thought I have to face Ignashov again. And that was something I would look up to because Ignashov was also in the tournament. And I lost earlier from him. So this was a little bit an obstacle. But the other fighters, I didn't know them.
Okay. So you knocked Petr Vondracek out in the second round. Freddy Kemayo, who is a man from Falcon Gym. He's a 3-time Muay Thai champion. Your first leg kick dropped him, but he kept pushing forward. That guy was tough.
Yeah, what tough. Yeah.
He could take pain.
Yeah, absolutely. but I like that kind of fights. I like this kind of fights, This is, they get a lot of respect for that. Keep fighting.
So you beat Naofal Benazouz from the Iron Leg Gym. He's 13-1, and you win the qualifier. That is just to get into the Grand Prix.
Yeah.
What was your feelings coming out of that?
I was, of course, I was happy to qualify, but at that time also I added my relation. So this was a really shit time for me at that in this period.
You broke up with your relationship.
My former girlfriend, yeah. I broke up with her in that year, yeah. So that was a really difficult year. But I won the fight. I was happy, of course, that I can fight in the K1 again. Yeah, so it was good for me. It was good.
Okay. There's also one more caveat. You have a final elimination. One more fight you have to do before you get into the tournament. And that's a Brazilian Glob Fiatosa. Glob is known for his that kind of capoeira style.
Yeah. Nice head case. Yeah. At that time, I think the first fight he didn't catch me with a head kick. In the second fight, he catch me with a head kick. But the first fight, he didn't. No. Yeah. It was also a good fight. And in that fight also, you can see I knock him out with a knee, and then I'm still punching. When no, that's the final. Sorry, that's the final. Yeah. That fight I win on the decision.
Yeah, you win by decision. He stays really small and in the pocket, but your body shots killed him.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, I think that's another surprising aspect of your style. You're very body heavy.
Yeah, that means.
No, that you hit to the body a lot. That
you hit to the body a lot.
Yeah. I tried to deliver the kidneys. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So you pull into the World Grand Prix, November 19, 2005. It's in Tokyo. Dude, your first opponent's one of the hardest punchers in K1 history, Ray Sefo.
Yeah.
Still no research.
No, of course we measure everybody by watching a fight of Ernesto. So I fought Ernesto, and every time I had another fighter, I could add a film of this fighter, you know. So I fought Ernesto. Okay, I'm gonna check. Did Ernesto ever fight Ray Sefo? What happened in this fight? How did he fight? And then I say, okay, he fighted like this. This is what I can use. Then we look at another fight of Ray Sefo against someone else. Most of the times when I analyze the fight, I watch 3 or 4 videos. And then the first one is a video of the latest fight, the last fight he did. Then I'm going to try to look for a fight that he fight an opponent I know. This is who I fight before or I investigated before. Then I want to see a fight he lose. Now, and then maybe one more fight of his early days when he started. And then I want to see what is what's the stable factor in all these 3 fights, 3 or 4 fights. What's the stable thing? This is how he fights. And with all the other things is accidental. So if he tries to run in when he normally doesn't do that, that has a reason. So I'm going to find out what's the reason. And then maybe because I push him, or sometimes you have to fight a little bit outside of the kickboxing lines, you know. For example, with Bohasky lost the fight after he got thrown on the floor by Alexey Overeem first time. Alexey Overeem throw him on the floor, then Bohasky stand up, and then he get knocked out. So what I'm doing when I fight Badr the second time, that was at the end of my career, I try to push him away, that he got the feeling that he go back. Because when he got the feeling that he go back, I know he wants to come in. That's 100% sure. And he had the bad experience, because if he doesn't go in, he get knocked out. But that was with Alexey Overeem. So I try to provoke certain actions where what he did when he lost the fight. So this is how I try to analyze, you know, try to really break up to the point. Okay, this is steady, this is steady, this is steady, this is steady. Now it's going to happen something that's different. Why it's different? And then you try to find out what it is. And then when it works in the fight, it's a great experience. And it's really like a video game, you know what to do.
Right,
Wow.
right. So I think Ray Sefo, in my opinion, was probably the top guy. He was probably the hardest guy in the tournament for that of yourself. Remy, Vondracek, obviously won 2003, 2004 K1 champion. You fight him in the second match. You finish him with a knee strike.
Yeah.
Was that the plan going into that fight?
To finish him, yeah. But how? I think I made a front kick. I make the front kick, and then he went up to the knee. He went up his knee. But
And then your rematch with Fiatosa, you also finish him with a kick as well.
yeah, knee kick, yeah.
It seemed like your style changed. Like something happened that kind of upped your game at this point.
Yeah. I got really confident in the front kick. Because I did it in the early fights, I also used my front kick. But when at one point, I started to use my front kick a lot more. Because it was a really effective kick.
Yeah, same kick that finished Pete Williams too.
Yeah.
I might add.
Yeah. That was in the UFC, was that? Yeah. And when you see the kick, I'm going next. You think, he's missed, but it's just in the liver.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's so long. Your knee is like a front kick for a normal person.
Yeah, when I get hit, yeah.
It's true. They rematch you with Ernesto Hoost for the K1 Dynamite show. It's the New Year's Eve show that's, one of their most popular things that they do for the entire year.
Yeah.
Did you request this? Did Ernesto request it? How does it come together?
Ernesto requested this,
Oh.
And also, if you look at the footage, this is nice. Because this is some inside information, He gave me I think he gave me the necklace or something. He gave me the necklace or the crown, something he gave me. And then he said, New Year's Eve, we're going to fight you. You see my face changing. You see, okay, I'm on. You see something changing me. That is really nice. Yeah, if you have the time for it, you have to look it up, and you can see that something's changing at that moment. Yeah.
He was also he was like handing off the flag or honoring you.
Yeah, I know. He's telling me he want to beat my ass.
Yeah,
Next
I think
time.
he saw the Ignashov fight, and I think he got a little confidence with the Ignashov fight when he saw
Yeah,
it.
maybe, yeah.
Yeah. Around this time, Pride is also having their issues. Like there's rumors in 2005 that Fedor's management was kidnapped by the Pride people as a part of their negotiating with his contract. Do you hear anything of this? Does any of this come your way?
I heard something. I also know that Bas Boon was also at some points. He was also. They threatened him also. I know this, but I don't know how it was going. I don't know about the kidnapping. No, no. But there's some big guys behind it there. Yeah, that's for sure.
Semmy, I was telling Miguel, the majority of your fights are in organizations where most of the people went to jail on the higher end of it.
Yeah, maybe, yeah.
Well,
K1, yeah.
K1 did, Pride did, some of the organizations in Amsterdam certainly had some issues.
Yeah, for sure, yeah.
You were never approached to do security or anything like that?
No. I did one time when I was a year of maybe 18 or something. I was a bouncer one time in a cafe near where I was living, and I did it one time, and I get a pack of money because I have to collect all the money of the people who come into the thing, and they have to buy things for me, or credits for me, that they can drink beer. But I got a real big pack, and then at the end of the evening, I go to this guy, the owner. I say, here's the money. He gives one, so he gives to me. It was like 50 euro, 50 guilder or something like that, 100 guilders, like 50 euro. I said, this is it? I say, yes. Then I said, okay, I'm never going to do this again. This is the last time I will work on the door for anyone, because I have to deal with all the shit, all these guys who are drunk coming to me. I have to get them out of the shop. I said, I don't do it anymore. And that's also the last thing I got involved in anything like this. Yeah.
Good move.
So Freak Hammaker competed at UFC 2. He was one of the guys that ran a lot of the red light districts. In fact, that's where Dirty Bob Schrijber, he used to work with him.
Yeah.
Did you ever come into contact with Freak at all?
No.
Okay.
No. Only on the sportive way, when I was, for example, when you are fighting for at that time it's Showtime. Yeah, there are a lot of these Spinoza guys, they are there. But yeah, for me, I have nothing to bring for them. They have nothing for me. So I never had sponsors in my time when I was fighting. I never had sponsors also. And this has got a lot to do with it, because if you have a sponsor, they want things of you, and the sponsors at that time, of course, the money is good, but this, I had to take care of my own business.
It's not worth it. Yeah.
No, for sure not. No.
But you can see how sometimes people could be a little bit desperate for money, and that they would have to go down that path. And sometimes it's a very steep decline.
I think so. I think there's at one point there's no way back. There's no way back. If you're in it, you're in it, and you can't get out of it.
You seem to have avoided not only this, but also a lot of the parties. Like, hey, in Japan, you go to Roppongi afterwards, and they take care of everything and things. You seem to have kept yourself away from a lot of trouble. In places,
clean,
right?
Yeah.
So clean.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
How was that? Just your instinct, your upbringing, or?
No, it was also I was there with my trainer, and we didn't like all this bravoure, all these things to do, For us, I come there to fight. It was really I wanted to fight. This is where I was there. The only thing. And sometimes there are the guys with there. They say, we want to go out, or we're going to this. No, man. I'm staying here. I want to eat something. I will watch a movie or something, just stay relaxed. Yeah.
I mean, just so people can kind of get. Go ahead, Semmy. I apologize.
No. I was nothing.
All right. So I think so people at home can understand just how dangerous the situation could be. There was a kickboxer, Andre Brillerman. Do you remember him?
Yeah.
Did you ever spar with him?
No.
No communication or anything like that?
No, nothing.
So Andre was from like a poorer background, needed a little bit of money, was doing bodyguard work for Klaus Berniesma. And when Klaus was in jail, he allegedly stole a little bit of money. And in our interview with Bas Boon, our second interview with Bas Boon, he tells Andre's story, and it's pretty brutal.
Yeah, I think so. But I at that time, I was too young for all this shit. Yeah.
Did you ever run into Gerard Gordeau?
Yeah.
Oh, come on, bro.
Yeah, not in the fighting, I mean, but yeah, we had a karate tournament, and our style was a little bit against their style. So when they are the competitions, yeah, we meet them in England. We meet them everywhere. Yeah.
Gordeau is another. He's there needs to be a movie about him.
Yeah, maybe, yeah. I think there will be some stories, yeah.
All right. So K1 Dynamite, December 31st, 2005, Ernesto Hoost, you knock him out. You stop him.
Yeah.
You are on top of the world at this point. Like you put the entire K1, the entire K1 roster on notice.
Yeah.
What was it like walking out of there? There was huge audience.
It was the one of the biggest shows, I think. No, that was the first time with Ernesto. No, how was it when I walked out there? Yeah, of course, you feel great, You feel great. But I remember, we were in the bus and they were putting all the balloons, on the new year. Yeah, I was away from my family. I think that I didn't like, I think, fuck, we have to fight on New Year's Eve to give everybody a nice show. And here I am, in the bus waiting to get back to the hotel. It's crazy. It's crazy. But it's all part of the game, It's so you want to be champion, you have to deal with this kind of things.
Talking about dealing with certain things, Petr Aerts is your next opponent, March 5th, 2006. It's in Auckland, New Zealand. The Dutch lumberjack, who is an absolute savage, and I think your main nemesis.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know, is this the first time I fight him in New Zealand? The first time, yeah. I lose this fight, but I think I had a good fight, it's things will go like that. And that's also what Petr me told later, he said how many times I get people like this, I get screwed, I get to the other line. How many times this happened to me? This happens to every fighter because it's a sport of the jury and you have to knock someone out to really win the fight. But I think I didn't have a good fight.
Let me ask you, just to be clear, you think you won?
In New Zealand, I think it was a really close fight. It was. I don't have the fight in front of me, but I think this was one of the fights I could have won. I could have won the same.
It was close. I'm going to tell you what the issue is. It's David versus Goliath.
Yeah, of course.
It's very difficult to root for David or for the Goliath. Everybody roots for David.
Yeah.
It's like when when Godzilla comes. It's like, all right, well, he's battling Mothra, but Godzilla is going to tear down every building along the way. It's hard to root for Godzilla.
Yeah. Yeah, but I didn't see it like that. Strangely.
Petr also, I think his biggest benefit when fighting you is he wasn't afraid. I think a lot of the people were when they saw your size and mass. Petr wasn't afraid to get knocked out.
No. I think Petr was like he's going for it. He's really going for it. He's going forward. He's taking advantage of the referee at some times. But this is clever fighting, When he might make a punch, all the audience will root for him. Yay! when I make a punch, it's quiet. It's all these little things what's building up. And of course, he was a good fighter. He's going forward all the time. And then when I get too close, you get in the clinch, I get the disadvantage. They say, okay, one warning. And then they go again, same story. Punch, 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 get close to me, get too close. I have to take him, put him off because I cannot do anything. Now, warning again. So this is the thing what he did good. I think in the last time, I think 2011, then for me, he really won the fight because I wasn't in my game.
Now, let me ask you, at this point, you've got Ernesto Hoost, yourself, Peter Arts, Bohasky. It's like Holland is owning this stuff. Do you realize that you guys like are the best in the world at this point? Like, how do you talk to them about this? Like, you're putting on a show for Japan so far from home, or is that something you thought about?
No. No, I did not have many contacts with these guys at that time. Now I do it, Petr, and with Ernesto. We do the seminars in Bulgaria. With Remy, I have contacts. Now I have more contact. But at that time, I didn't have contact with the other K1 fighters. No, I also had a feeling, it was everybody against me, because I won so many times. It was everybody against. They have to beat me first, and then they will fight on the underling again. Yeah.
I got you.
But that's actually really smart, though. It's like, why open yourself up? You're the champ. You want to maintain it. You want to keep it. It's a very lonely place. And when you let people into your house, it just means that you exit.
It may be, yeah, for sure. Yeah. I'm now also much more open than I was in that time. I didn't tell what I was training, how I was training, why should I tell? It is not an advantage. And they were more together. But that is also something I missed, because it's lonely on the top. That's for sure.
It is.
It is.
Yeah. Musashi fighting in Vegas. After that, you fight a guy in 84 fights against very high talent, has never been knocked out. He stopped once. I think it was because of fatigue. Lloyd Van Dam's, the Tornado out of Chakariki Gym, one of the most established kickboxing gyms in the world. That guy can take a beating.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that they were testing your cardio with that fight, and they were seeing if you would wilt, because this guy, he took an ass kicking.
Yeah, he keep coming. Yeah.
From there, Choi Hong Man, a 7'2" guy. There was no size advantage whatsoever. I think it was a little controversial, that fight, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think
you lost a split decision.
It was. I lost at a split decision, and the front kicks were not points because Bas Boon, he made a complaint about this. He write a letter to the organization, and we counted the points. And then they say, yeah, but the front kick is not a point. So this is how it works.
Now, let me ask you, you're fighting Hongman Choi there in Korea. Yeah. Did you feel you had no chance? Or was there any other signs of that the world was against you?
The world was against me for sure. And this is also a mental thing, because when I lost that fight, I went out of the ring. And then there was the ending ceremony, I think, if I remember right. Then I come back to the ring because I was in the dressing room and the ending ceremonies go and say, fuck them, I will go there and I will show them I'm the champion. So I went back where I was losing. I went back into the ring and also be in the end ceremony, everything, I was there, and I also raised my hand and say, fuck you all, I'm the champ, This was really something, I went back and I really did that, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think they'd have enough security to stop.
I was really angry, because I lost. I was really angry for this is not possible. But I said, yeah, screw them. I go back. I'm the champ. So I went back into the ring. Yeah.
How does that conversation go with the promotion afterwards? Did they say to you, yes, sorry, or nothing like this?
It's our fault.
If they say sorry, they have to be something to make it right again. But they don't never say sorry. This is how it is, and this is how it is. So, yeah.
Now, do you have hesitation about being set up at this point? Do your management have conversations? What happens after a screw job like this?
Yeah, what happens? Yeah, we write a letter, and then it's done. What can I do?
You didn't want to say, maybe I take a little break off. I'm going to maybe go back to Pride.
No, I did that came up to my mind. No. Say, okay, this is how it is. Okay, you deal with it. Yeah.
Yeah, you're heading into the 2006 Grand Prix on a loss, and you're obviously going to have to make some adjustments. Bjorn Breggy is your opening round. It's September 30th, 2006. You start with a KO, so you're kind of getting your rhythm back. And then December 2nd, 2006, you're in the Grand Prix again. Jerome Le Banner. It's a very Dutch heavy tournament, though. Like, yeah. I think you had like 3 or 4 guys from your gym in the final 8 people.
Yeah, but I didn't meet them. I didn't fight them.
No. Yeah. But you got Jerome Le Banner in your opening round. Le Banner is tough as nails, southpaw out of France. What was he like outside of the ring? He seems like somebody that would try to get in people's heads.
I think so. Yeah, he was he was nasty. He was nasty. Yeah.
Can I take one step back, Mike?
Sure, go ahead, please.
The Hangman Choi fight. Obviously, they take you to Korea, and you understand that maybe they want you to. But if you won, did they promise you Akibono? Was this something you heard of? Because this is the time when I think Hangman Choi fought Akibono after you next.
No, it was not for me. It was not for me. I think. Oh,
okay.
This is not what I've known. No.
Okay.
Here. Miguel, we're off topic.
I think you should ask Bas Boon to tell his stories in this podcast. I think this will be a lot of news. All news, but it's news.
We do have a call out to him, I might add. Yeah. We did Marlowe's Conan and Gilbert Yvel. Gilbert Yvel looked like he was on the witness stand. He's like, I'm not answering that now. No, I don't think so. All right, Bob.
Actually, Gilbert came with Ron Nyqvist. He came the first time. He came to our gym to ask if I want to join Glory, Golden Glory at that time. Yeah.
So did you spar him that first day?
That was the first time. Yeah. And my father is a truck driver, and he was driving in I think in the a little bit through Amsterdam with the truck. Then one Porsche came. Then he called me. He said, "Sam, I think these guys are coming to your gym. If they're driving a Porsche, then I see them here." And then we were coming in the gym and I said, "You are with the Porsche?" He said, "Yes." I said, "Okay." Then I know my father already saw them like 200 kilometers before they were in the gym.
That's funny.
Because they were driving in this car. Yeah, that was funny.
Did you ever get offered to fight Bob Sapp?
Not the offer. Almost I fought him in the tournament, but then they bought me out because then Ernesto fought him in the tournament. Yeah.
Man, Japan loves the contrast of human. Like, those are 2 giant human beings. I think that's the one for you. That fight and Tim Sylvia are the 2 fights that I wish you would have had.
With Bob Sapp and with Tim Sylvia.
Bob Sapp and Tim Sylvia, those are the 2 fights I wish I would have seen you fight in.
Yeah.
It's a shame.
Yeah, like against Bob and against Tim. All right, so Jerome Le Banner, he's kind of nasty. You win a decision against the very tough southpaw, and you meet Ernesto Hoost for a 3rd time. Your confidence must be through the roof walking to that ring.
Yeah, I was okay. Yeah. But that I'm, every fight is a fight. So I'm never sell the skin before you shoot the bear. You should have first you win and then you talk about it. So of course when I fought Ernesto, I had confidence and I wanted to win the fight because he was in my way because I want to win the tournament. So it was not. They're all the same for me at that point. They're in my way. I want to win the tournament.
Right.
Doesn't matter who it is.
That is a championship mindset right there. Everybody else is going, oh my God, it's Ernesto Hoost, where you don't care.
No. Also, all this shit about it's the first round. You have to be relaxed because you don't have injuries. If I need to have an injury in the first round, I will have the injury because you have to win the round, the fight. If you lose the first round and then you say, but I'm all clean, I have nothing, then you are fucked because you lose. So I think when you go into the tournament, you have to, of course, you have to try to preserve yourself, but not at all costs because you have to go to the second round. So you have to finish. You cannot do easy. So also in the second round, you cannot do easy. Yeah, there's gonna be a third round. Yeah, the third round comes when it comes. But first we have to be there. So this is the mindset I had.
I think for Ernesto, just so everybody at home can understand, Ernesto Hoost is the greatest Let's subtract Semmy Schilt from the conversation. Ernesto Hoost is the greatest ever, period, bar none. And now a guy from MMA comes over that's every bit of 7 feet tall and is not afraid, doesn't care, doesn't think 2 seconds of him. and not only matches, but surpasses Ernesto. Like if you never did K1, Ernesto probably would have won the Grand Prix 6 times. And that's me being generous, maybe 7, but 6, definitely 6.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Huh. Yeah, it's wild. That's wild. So you beat Ernesto by decision. He never fights. He retires after this.
Yeah.
And obviously, it's 2006.
I remember his family was there also.
He thought this was his last run at making another world title.
Yeah.
And
I remember when I was there in the ring, I saw his children sitting there. I thought, shit. Yeah. I thought, shit, but I'm not going to lose the round. I'm not going to lose this fight. But I saw them. I know.
Have you and Ernesto connected after this ever?
Me, I understand why Ernesto is sometimes a little bit, sour, because of me. But we can get along. Yeah, we get along.
He's a champion. He's
he have to put these things behind him. He's better than that.
You have to pass the torch. You can only be the greatest for so long, and then you have to give it to somebody. And people love it so much that they have trouble giving it away. But you have to.
Yeah.
No, I know. You felt a little bit of remorse seeing his kids after you beat him. But in a way, isn't that a sign that he's near the end, that he's bringing his family?
No, but also I remember my wife was also one time there with my child, and then
your son.
With my son, and then she went away. That was also not a good sign. Then I lost from Petr, but she went away before that. Yeah, so I think I think it's not nice, but I have to do it. I want to win the tournament, so this is how it works. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's incredible. So, Petr, you've got an opportunity to avenge your last loss. Well, no, Choi was prior to that. But Petr is in the finals. You come away with the decision, and you're a 2-time winner. Did you want that? Were you hungry for that Petr fight?
Also worried because I know it was going to be a tough fight. It's going to be a tough one. Yeah.
That's the first time you've ever said that with all the list of incredible opponents.
Yeah.
The first time you were ever worried is with Petr.
Yeah. Because
he plays a good game.
because I know it's gonna. I have to give everything. You know, you cannot he cannot weaken up, and I know he's got the audience behind him. He's got the going forward all the time. So it's gonna be a physically heavy fight. Physically heavy, yeah.
How is he before the fight? Because like Peter Arts is another one of those Dutch guys with a street fighting reputation, very serious guy.
Yeah, but he's you hear him in the dressing room, you know, you hear him laugh all the time, and you hear him doing his thing, you know. Yeah, he's I think he's more relaxed, you know.
Okay,
he's more relaxed guy. I'm more tense when I was fighting, for sure.
Okay, very interesting.
100%.
Well, you have fought some of the most devastating punchers in K1 history. Mark Hunt, Ray Seffo, Mighty Mo. I mean, those guys are absolute savages. Who hit the hardest?
Who hit the hardest? Ah, man. Ray Seffo caught me one time. And I think Mark Hunt didn't. And I think Mighty Mo also didn't hit me. No, they didn't hit me. Only Mark hit me. And then I got a knockdown also from him. But it was not only one hit. It was more than one. I think so. So
who's hit you the hardest, period?
I think Fedor.
Really?
Yeah, on the ground. Yeah.
Wow.
I was in a bad position. Yeah.
To your credit, after your fight with Fedor, he actually publicly stated that you were his toughest bout.
I think one of the,
at that point, I know he had some hard ones after that.
After in the UFC, I think he had some harder fights maybe, but in the beginning, definitely, because I didn't give up.
No,
it was a decision. I think it was a decision. I don't know.
Yes,
I think so. Decision. Yeah. Till the end.
So you're at the K1 Dynamite show against Peter Graham. You topped the year off 2007. Well, wait a minute. You don't. In December 2nd, 2006, you win the Grand Prix, and you know what? It's 2006. You finished the year off in Osaka against Peter Graham, and then they offer you the super heavyweight title in a rematch against Ray Seffo again. Ray Seffo, I think he's an underappreciated, just tough human being.
Yeah, maybe, yeah. He's tough, yeah.
For sure. So you win the super heavyweight title. You defend it against Mighty Mo, and you have your opening round in Seoul, Korea against Paul Slowinski. Now, the rumor going into this is Ernesto Hoost's top student, and he has prepared him specifically for you.
Yeah.
You didn't sit well. I think you haunted Ernesto in his head.
No,
at this point.
I think for Ernesto, maybe if he also got he believes also he win the K1 6 or 7 times without me, then I'm in his head for sure. And at this moment also, and we were in his head because they changed the rule in the bandage before this fight.
Wait, would you mind going through that so everybody at home? So K1 changes the rules specifically. Let me frame this. Greatness comes, when somebody is great, when the rule changes specifically to affect them. Mark Schultz we've had on here, Mark Coleman we've had on here. This is the third person on our podcast that we've had that has had specific rule changes. Please go ahead.
Yeah, but it was not, this change was not for me at this moment because they did the clinching. The clinching was a real change of the rules. Before we could clinch in the K1, and now we could not clinch anymore. You could not take the head.
So this was not the knees rule that they changed.
It was the knee.
To target you.
They hit the clinch. This was the other. Now they changed the bandage because some fighters, they put a lot of bandage in front, or they make the pieren draai. I don't know what they make it hard.
Yeah.
They make it hard on the top, like the Muay Thai fighters. They do it a lot.
They put a lot of tape. They put tape.
With tape.
And I think if you say piedra, is that like rock, or like a cement?
No, not a rock. You know, it's like if you have the tape, you roll the tape, and then you put it on the gloves, or you put it on your hand.
Yeah, they make
They
bridges.
changed it. Yeah, they make bridges. Yeah. They changed that, and then actually, Ernesto was just finished with the hands of Peter Graham. With the hands of Paul Slowinski. Then my manager Bas, he saw that, and then he said to the Japanese guy who was making the autograph, he wanted to sign. Then Bas said, no, but they changed the rules. It has to be open in the front. So then they have to take it off again.
Oh,
Then Ernesto was really pissed on Bas, you know, because he said, why you let me take it off and it is not necessary. Then the Bas said, yeah, but it's the rules. But if someone goes behind the rules, it's Mr. Boon. But now he said, no, it's the rules, so we have to do it. So you have to take advantage of. So that at that time that Ernesto was really pissed on me, I believe that with 100%, 100%. Yeah, and that he trained Paul Slowinski to beat me, I also believe that. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Bas Boon is like the pro wrestling manager.
Yeah, he's like the Don King of
complaining about things that he does.
yeah, for sure.
So just so everyone knows, Paul Slowinski, he's a Muay Thai world champion. You quickly end any hope from Ernesto Hoost with the first round KO with a knee to the head.
Yeah.
But they, just so people understand, they did change the knees to the head rule specifically to target you. Am I correct?
That's how it feels for me. I don't know it's true, you know, but
how could it not be true?
Through my career, you know, I make a lot of knockouts with my knees. I could not grab anymore. So I think so, yeah, for sure.
Man, it's 100% true.
Yeah.
You go into another Grand Prix world title tournament, December 8th. The opening round obviously was with Slowinski. That was a qualifier against Glabe Fiatosa. He lands a kick in that first round where I have to assume the locker rooms with the other fighters, you could probably hear the cheering from them.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think that's another statement. I think, yeah, for sure. Yeah.
What was it like taking that kick and obviously recovering?
I took this kick, and you know, when I get hit like that, I tell myself, you know, this is nothing. I have to go. I have to go forward. This is nothing. This is a part of the game. You know, I have to take it. So, of course, I was worried. I think because if it's gonna be a decision, I'm gonna lose for sure. So I cannot make it a decision. So that's when I start hunting. I started hunting right away. I think, it pisses me off. I got more sharp after that.
So you win a decision, and it's very one-sided. You shut every offense down by Fiatosa after that. And Jerome LeBanner comes in. Oh,
yeah.
I think you broke Jerome mentally. He tried his hardest, though.
I think so, yeah. Yeah. But Jerome LeBanner was in the time also busy with other things. I remember one time in the New Year's show, I think, he came at the last moment, he fight. He didn't, there was an extra round, he walked away. There was something controversial with him at that time. But for me, yeah, I know at the fight, I know, I think I make the middle kick on the arms again with this fight. And I don't know, it was an early stoppage. It was not a full round. I think one round maybe, if I remember correct.
He took the Pete Erickson approach. He kept trying to push you back. Which is smart. He kept trying to push you back, and then you saw him limping back to his corner to second round, and obviously there was a corner stoppage. And Peter Ertz is in the finals again.
Yeah.
You fought a little more conservative with him than you do to everybody else.
Yeah, maybe, yeah.
Yeah. You became the third person to win 3 K1 titles, and you're the first person ever to win them consecutively. You've cemented your legacy in combat sports.
Yeah.
How high are you after that? Like, what kind of emotions do you have? How long does it last for?
How long does it last? Of course, when I think about it now, I get more high of it now than it was in that time. That's for sure. You know, yeah, of course, yeah, you feel great, you feel good, but this is not the end. You know, I'm still. There's more to achieve at that moment.
Now, in retrospect, looking back, is this your high point? Is that your maximum, or do you feel like
No.
There's not my maximum. No, not yet. No, for sure not.
Good.
No. It doesn't. It didn't feel like that. Also,
good?
See, but this is kind of, you know, we've had Chris Lytle on here, and he talks about the championship mindset, where you have to be almost a little bit delusional in order just to kind of convince yourself to keep pushing forward. Like you've done every single thing that's ever been asked of you up until this point. You've never entered a K1 tournament where you haven't won. You've got a majority finish rate, and it's still not enough for you.
Yeah, stop with that. Yeah. What are you gonna do?
Yeah, no, it's interesting. We had a boxer here. I live in Costa Rica. We had a boxer here who signed for a title fight on the same show as Manny Pacquiao, so very big attention. And I remember his coach said to him, he goes, "Do you want the biggest thing you did to be a co-main, or is this a step and then go bigger?" And he never broke big, you know, but you did. You broke through that roof that's there.
Yeah.
Michael?
Do you still have your trophies and belts?
Yeah, I still have them. Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Are they displayed in your gym or at home?
Yeah, they're in my gym. Also in the office, I have a few in the office. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, absolutely incredible. Your next fight's Mark Hunt. Everybody thought, including myself, I remember staying up late for this one. Everybody thought this is it. This is the guy that's going to be, you know, testing the chin of Semmy. Did you have any concerns going into this fight?
Yes, of course. He's a heavy hit, you know. He's known for it. I see the fight with him, and they say for many times that they hit each other like that, you know. So yeah, of course, yeah. He's an obstacle.
Now, do you think you had a little advantage because he's kind of short and it's hard to punch up, you know, but
yeah, but it's also hard to punch down.
yeah, that's true. Very tiring, yeah.
Yeah, even if I got to move body movement, you know, I cannot hit you, I cannot catch him, but it was okay, yeah.
I think this was the fight that kind of showed Semmy, everybody looks at you as just a big body, somebody that's mean, hard, hits hard. You just got to, you know, weather the storm. Well, Mark Hunt could absolutely do that. Like, he's proven time and time again. And then you show your technical ability. And it kind of showed everybody, oh my God, like, it's always existed. It's just we haven't noticed it, because you land a spinning wheel kick to the body, and you stop Hunt in the first round.
Did that feel good?
Oh my God!
Yeah, that feel good. Yeah. It was really good timing. My coach called. He said back kick. I was looking, pop, back kick. It was it. Yeah. Get him into the corner. Pop,
back kick to the body. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Jerome LeBanner, from him, you get a decision, and then you fight the qualifier. And I think part of K1, in order to, sometimes they do things in order to, I'm not gonna say humble, or it's like they match make intentionally to specifically to beat one person. They give you Petr in your qualifier.
Yeah.
So they give you the guy that you know you're going to meet in the finals.
Yeah.
In the qualifier. Like, it's the fight that everybody wants to see
in the finals. Yeah.
What do you think the politics of that? Are they mad at your management? Are they mad with you? Are you not working with them? This is clearly motivated in order to not let you in the tournament.
Yeah, I think so, but I don't have any vote in that. I don't have any vote, and I don't believe my management wanted to be. They wanted this fight. I think so, but I don't know. I just had to fight Peter in this fight. Yeah.
Were you disappointed when you heard about this bout?
At that moment, not. Later, I was. Because I lost, you know. I was disappointed because before this, a champion never had to qualify.
No.
And now I have to qualify against my worst enemy.
Well, in Semmy, let's push it even further. The only time you've ever fought this worst enemy is after you guys have already fought 2 times, other people. So you beat him in the finals. So you're made for long distance and durability.
Yeah.
And now you get him a fresh Peter Arts rather than somebody that's already had 2 fights.
Yeah.
To where you've disposed of your opponents relatively fast.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
there's like New Zealand, of course. Like New Zealand before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like there's even more layers to it, rather than just, well, now you've got to qualify.
But there was also I lost. I know, yeah. No, I lost that fight. I lost from Peter, and I lost also another fight in the 2011, I think, also from Peter. But that was because of my rib. But that's later that's coming later.
Yeah.
Of course, I was disappointed. I have to fight him in Korea. But yes, if you want to fight, you have to fight. And I had some difficult times in this period.
Well, you had some difficult times in Korea.
No, in this year it was difficult for me.
Okay. Well, Hongman Choi was in Korea as well.
Yeah.
So you're back in front of the same judges that you had issues with.
Yeah.
Now you got your toughest foe.
I got many with the judges I could never cope. There's also, but actually they always make a rule meeting in front of before the event. And as one of the fighters who was always there, it was me. I was always at the rule meeting, just to listening what the coach, what the referees is telling, everything, you know. But still, they didn't like me. They always had a problem with me.
Outside of fighting, when you're at the hotel room, you're at the venue, do you just stay to yourself, or do you go and shake other people's hands and say and be social with them? Because that's a lot of it.
I'm not so social, no.
That's it.
No, I did not wish them good luck or something. No, not for sure. No.
That's scary. That's scary. The giant guy that looks at you. Now, let me ask you: with K1, you've won the tournaments. They put you in the hard fight, you know, for the qualifier with no respect. Was your money going up, or is it always the same for the tournament?
The tournament's always the same. Yeah. The tournament is the same. Yeah.
Okay, so you were just getting flat fees, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Well, you took 7 months off at this point as well from K1.
When? That was in the end.
So after Peter Arts was September 27, 2008. You don't fight K1 again. Oh, wait a minute. Until March 28, 2009.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had the tournament and stuff like that. But in between then, on January 17, 2009, you're at UFC 93 negotiating with the UFC with Alistair Overeem.
Yeah, it was just I was there, yeah. But I was not negotiating anything.
You weren't?
No, not me. Maybe my manager was, but I wasn't. I was there. I was invited there to go there with Alistair, because Alistair wanted to go to the UFC at that moment.
Okay, so at this point, as a fan, I'm looking what happened with the qualifier, Peter Arts. You know, there's some time off in January. You're at the UFC. I'm like, okay, he's coming back. I was pumped. I'm not even gonna lie. I was hoping you were coming back to, fight stateside here.
Yeah, it went into my mind because at that time the UFC changed also. It was a lot more stand-up fighting. It was a lot more stand-up fighting than was before. That's for sure. Yeah.
On March 20, 2009.
But 2000. What was what year was that? 2000.
It was 2009.
2009. Yeah, 2009. Then the K1 had some problems already. The K1 was in problem. The K1 was in bad weather.
So when you talk about problems
Because in
with
2009, I fought for Rutz again against Badr Hari.
Yeah.
All right, when you talk about K1 having issues,
With the
I don't
text.
have my notes. You're talking about Kayazushi Ishii. He actually went to jail in 2005 over tax evasion, but Sadaharu Tanikawa, who's a sports journalist, he was kind of like his crony. He was managing K1, and it's like a little shell game, and the shell game was kind of folding. So, for instance, Ishii was calling the shots, the business shots from prison, but they stopped being able to make their moves. There were some financial problems happening at that point.
They had some financial problems at that time, yeah.
Like the person we had mentioned earlier, the Golden Glory founder, Ron Nyqvist, he was also operating Golden Glory from a prison cell, prior to, the car bombing. Hesdy was it Gerges?
Gerges. Yeah.
I'm never going to get that. So he's one of the black label fighting guys. You go to battle with him, and I mean, I don't think it's so much controversial on our end, but on their end, they're saying that you received medical attention between rounds, and they actually filed a complaint against you.
Yeah, that's true.
What took place?
I cut my shin. I cut my shin during the fight. And then I got to break in the corner, and then Bas Boon talked to the doctor there, and he said he could make it. He could. They put tape on it. So you see, in the first round, I think that I don't have tape on my shin, and in the second round, I have tape on my shin, and that is the one I complained about later. Yeah, that's true.
Could your corner? I mean, according to the rules, was your corner not allowed to put tape on it? I mean, obviously, a doctor did this.
No, the doctor did not do it.
Oh, he didn't.
There wasn't.
Did he provide the tape?
Yeah. No, he didn't arrive the tape. I had to the shin protection. I have a little bit shin protection on my shin, and just above the shin protection was the cut. So then the shin protection was loose. So we took the shin protection again, but then we taped the cut. Oh. But I didn't know I was cut. That is also funny. I didn't know I was cut, because when I'm kicking and you know when you're hurting yourself, you kick and then you think, fuck, but then I say, okay, I don't look, because if I don't look, it's not there. Yeah, it's not there. It's not there. And then I come to the corner, they tape it, say, okay, yeah, it's not there. And then I could fight again, for sure.
Yeah,
did it take more than a minute? Did all this bandaging take more than a minute? A minute usually? Is that part
of it was not a bad. It was just tape, just sport tape. It was a sport tape, just that. Not okay. Bandage, only sport tape. No, and it was in the time, so it's no problem.
Okay. Cool.
That's incredible. Your career is actually. You would think, hey man, this is where it is. This is where it ends. You ride off in a sunset. You keep fighting for the Showtime organization, and it never works out well for you. They throw you up against Petr Hari. Out of curiosity, like, why would you take those fights to begin with?
Yeah, it is my management decides. I'm not the fighter who says, I don't want to fight this guy. I don't want to fight this guy. I fight. No. I fight. I fight. They wanted to steal the fight from Japan, because then it was because the K1 was doing really bad. They think, okay, we make the Showtime, then this is a real good fight for Showtime event. Yeah. So I did not have a good feeling about this fight.
So Petr Hari is your opponent.
Badr Hari, yeah, Badr.
It's May 16, 2009. It's a Showtime title fight.
Yeah.
What happens?
What happens? There's a big crowd. It's. I think he was coming into the ring with a big, different atmosphere. I got used to. I'm used to Japan. Then I'm in Holland. Everybody's talking, shouting. I can, of course, in Japan also they shout, but I cannot understand them. I cannot understand Japanese, so that's no problem. But in Holland, you hear everything. Everything comes in, and it was not a good fight. And after 2 knockdowns, I told the referee, I don't want to fight. You don't have to knock me out. It's okay. This is the first time in my life I quit a fight.
Yeah.
I quit. I think this is not my time. Next time I will take him. And after an interview after that, I also said, when I meet the Badr in Japan, I'm the winner. This time I couldn't win. This time it was for him. Okay, it's finished. But I don't let him knock me out because of the audience or whatever. No way. No way. So,
now, you said you kind of had a bad feeling before the fight about this. What made you feel uncomfortable?
Because all the rivalry because the Golden Glory at that time, the Simon Rutz promotion, the upcoming of Badr Hari, it was a bad atmosphere for me. It was not my favorite atmosphere. No, for sure. Okay. No.
Wow. Yeah, there was an intense rivalry. Well, when you've got the greatest group of kickboxers in the world all located pretty much in the same country, there's probably only going to be one, two super gyms. And, it's fighters like to fight, and it's going to happen. Was there bad blood between yourself personally? And
me and Badr Hari.
Yeah.
No, at that time, no. He's just a fighter. I saw him fight in New Zealand, and it was also world title for Showtime. So I think, okay, we're gonna try to get another title. Yeah.
Wow. So the Grand Prix is right around the corner. How do you get yourself up mentally?
That was a difficult one because I did my preparation in Romania at that time. I went to Romania to prepare for the final. Yeah, I remember. So this is I did not know it though. Badr will make it to the final. You never know it if he makes it to the final. So this is why you just keep preparing.
All right, so your qualifier is against Daniel Gita. Daniel Gita is known as a Savage Samurai. He's actually a politician in Romania. And if you look at his body of work, he's largely considered one of the greatest kickboxers of all time. How did you do in that qualifier?
I did well. I beat him.
Yeah. He's known for his devastating. See, here's the difference. Like, Semmy, you're so tall that a lot of people like Ernesto, Hoost, they head kick, and because you're so tall, that weapon is taken away from them. Daniel Gita, he has explosive, devastating low kicks. So it's exactly opposite of what people that you've really fought up until this point, and you win by decision, very one-sided decision, and you qualify for the Grand Prix. But prior to that, this is what's shocking to me. In October 17, 2009, you have an Alexey Ignashov rematch for Ultimate Glory in the Netherlands. Why even take this fight? It's so risky.
I did not feel like that. No, I did not feel it like risky like that. No, because it was also a different organization, so it has nothing to do with the final.
Miguel, I think the most shocking thing is that the K1 isn't locking everybody down to exclusive contracts. That's shocking. But
at that time they could not be exclusive because the money was not there.
Yeah, I think so they have a guy like Semmy. He's been there a long time. So if you're fighting a tournament, you have a deal for 3-4 fights or something like this. If they can't honor these fights,
you're right. Because
then
there's
they put one in Holland and he takes one off his contract. I bet that's a little bit of how it worked.
I'm surprised they didn't restructure it though, because as Semmy said in this, there's an end. At K1, there's a final. Like MMA, it's just you continue moving. But Alexey Ignashov, you're avenging a loss.
Yeah.
Your first loss.
Yeah.
Yeah. In fact, you've avenged every loss that you've ever had.
No, not in the MMA. Not in the MMA.
No, not in MMA. In K1.
K1, yeah. So
you
you win by decision.
Now I'm too old.
Fedor's looking for one last match. You know, start there.
It sounded like it's good laugh to hear you laugh. That's good.
Yeah. Something happens in 2009 that's very sad for the combat world. In your sparring, Vitaly Mitu, one of your sparring partners, there's an emergency at the gym and he passes. Yeah, while sparring with you.
Yeah.
How hard was that to deal with?
Yeah, that was real hard, man. That at that time, you know, I was there. I remember, you know, I was there and I said, okay, I don't want to win the final, man. Let him live. You know, you pray to God. You say, okay, I don't want to win the final.
Yeah, I don't care. Yeah, it's amazing.
Wow.
Yeah.
So he had acute pneumonia. He should have been in the gym. I did some like Google Translate and stuff like that. If you read what some of the people were saying about him, was like, no, the guy died doing what he loved. The guy's a warrior. He's a savage. He had the opportunity to spar with one of the world's greatest fighters in K1. And rather than get himself healthy, he couldn't do that. He wanted to show up at the gym instead. It tells you what type of human being he was.
Yeah.
Yeah, not easy for anybody.
A lot of baggage for a next fight. Yeah, that's a lot of baggage for the next fight. For you.
So, and that's in November, and December 5th, 2009, you pull into, I would arguably, not even arguably, I think the greatest K1 performance of all time, ever.
I think so. Yeah.
And Jerome LeBanner is your first opponent. Do you remember the time on that?
No, I don't remember. It was. I won the final in. You could boil an egg. That was the news in Holland. I win the tournament in the time you boil an egg. Yeah.
So, Jerome LeBanner, 127, left front kick. Remy Bohasky, 238, right low kick. Pulls into the finals against Petr Hari. Where was your head at? I mean, in under a minute, he finished you in your home country. Now you've got him in Japan, which some would say it's like a home field advantage for that of yourself.
For me, it I know his fighting style, and when we was preparing, you say, okay, you don't know his fighting style because if you fight someone under a minute, you don't know what's happening. No, that was his plan, you know, to just overcome and throwing his big punches. But when I was in that final, I thought actually Alistair Overeem should win this fight against Badr because he fought earlier against Badr, and now he lost. He lost in this round. And when I came back to the dressing room, I was in the same dressing room as Badr Hari because they changed the red corner, blue corner, and then during the tournament, the red corner becomes the blue corner, and then they changed. And when I saw him, I looked at him and I wanted to beat him. I knew I'm going to beat him. I knew it. This is so strange. You know, also, when I wake up in the morning at that day, I wake up and I looked in the room, where's my trophy? You know, it was going to happen. It was going to happen, for sure.
Well, Badr Hari walked out with Melvin Manhoff and Mike Passanea, his head coach. In the opening exchange, Badr Hari landed some huge punches. The first knockdown that you delivered on him was with your jab, and your second was a kick to the head. And Badr Hari gets up from that to try to land a Superman punch. I mean, it just tells you what kind of savage that guy is. And you finish him off with a liver kick.
Yeah.
Like all of that took place right here. Let me get the time. Within a minute 14.
Yeah, it's a heavy minute.
The water's not even boiling on the egg.
All those knockdowns include like standing 8 counts. So just what happened is you got 2 bulls. It's just a coin toss. Okay, we're gonna do this. One of us is getting knocked out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it was. I think that was my best victory.
Oh, he still stands today.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Now, do you remember when you fought him in Holland? You said to him, "I would definitely beat you in Japan." Like, so it felt like you fulfilled something.
Yeah, and also what happened in the front with Vitaly, you know, it was a really, I could not lose. I could not lose.
Well, you dedicated the fight to him. It was incredibly classy. Like, Semmy, I'm from Chicago. I'm from the United States. So when we hear news of something like this, and we know the Dutch system, we think, oh my God, this guy was just beaten to death. You know, because it happens. It's happened in your country, in this country, and then you get like the real details of the situation. Like, no, man, he was really sick. He shouldn't have been there. His system failed him. He should have had antibiotics. He should have been at home. And it changes the situation from being something that, I mean, a loss is always a tragedy, but the guy, it was almost as if he was with you at that moment. Yeah, it was fantastic. You know, and then that's life. I mean, it's, you know, I mean, it is.
No, that's a big motivation. Was it something? Did you see Badr Hari in Japan? Was he enjoying it, lifestyle, having fun? Is it something else that motivated?
No, he was serious. He was serious preparing also. He was ready. Yeah, yeah, he was ready. Yeah.
5 minutes, 52 seconds total fight time, fastest time ever to win a K1 title. Let's talk about runs through some people. You mentioned Alistair Overeem. What was it like sparring with him?
Alistair, he's not a nice guy to spar with. You know, he's really he tried to knock you out. He's not for me, it was not a nice guy to spar with. No.
What about Raymond Deckers?
Raymond Deckers, yeah, it was nice. Yeah, it was good.
Good sparring partner?
Yeah. Try to teach something, you know. Try to teach something. I like to learn something. Yeah.
Gegard Musashi.
I never trained with him.
What
I'd
about
love to train with him because I think he's a nice guy.
What about David Curia?
David Curia, yes, I train with him a lot. Yeah.
How was he in sparring?
Good, fast. It's hard sparring, but honest sparring, you know. Yeah.
Gokhan Saki?
I never sparred with him. No.
Okay.
Did you ever? I saw you fought him late in your career when he was very young. How about Rico?
Rico Verhoeven, I fought him too. Yeah. But never sparred with him. No sparring.
Oh, okay.
No.
What about training with John Olev Enimio?
Who?
John
From
Olev
Norway.
Inmo.
The guy from Norway.
I think I did not train with him. No.
Okay.
No.
Yeah, I'm going through some of the names.
Gilbert Ive, I think I trained one time with him, with Lucien Carbin. But we fought also. He beat me at that time. It was also a very controversial fight. He fought with the gloves, yeah, and I with the open hand.
All
right. So we're talking MMA. We're talking early Pancrase. Semmy, we hope to have you on again, obviously, to talk about your MMA career. With your fight against Gilbert Yvel, Gilbert was fighting an MMA bout, and you were fighting a Pancrase bout. You guys just happened to do it at the same time against each other. You were gloveless, following the Pancrase rules, and he was being the madman that Gilbert Yvel is. It's one of the hardest fights to watch. Like it's not an easy fight to watch as a fan.
No, but I'm really pissed. They decided to be a TKO because I was not down. They let me fight with such an ice until the last 10 seconds of the round, and then they cut it off because I also had a point. It was in the points. It was not far away from each other. But then they count me out. Yeah, I was pissed about that. And also later in that fight, you know, I got him in an arm lock. The Lucien, his trainer, he put the rope. He gave the rope to Gilbert. So the referee didn't see it, but he pulled the rope to it because he could not get against the rope. And then the referee pulled the rope. Yeah.
Good move.
Good move. Yeah. Bas Boon move.
Yeah. So what Semmy's describing is what's called a rope escape. It's like a point deduction instead of a stoppage. What was Gilbert Yvel like outside of the ring?
I was a crazy guy. He was a nice guy, crazy. He loved to fight. Yeah.
Yeah, his story is incredible. Like his mother came over from Haiti. She was like a maid with her sister, brought up the brother, and mother saves up her money, goes back to visit. A civil war breaks out. She can't leave the country, and her 2 children are in Holland. Like it's something that books and movies are written about. Yeah, truly. Anyway, Semmy, we've had you for 2 hours.
Yeah, man. I really have to go. I'm sorry, man.
No, we're good. Took your time.
We're gonna have to do it again for MMA, but this was very, very grateful. We learned a lot, and we wanted to have. It's a history podcast, and everything you've done has been very historic. I think in America you've been not remembered as much, and we wanted to just do what we can to honor you because that's what it is. It's an honor for us. Thank you.
Thank you, Semmy.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Take care, buddy.
Well, Mike, we did it. K1 in the books with a legend, Semmy Schilt in the books, man. What do you think?
Yeah, it's when we get off our beaten path, like with either wrestling, K1, it takes a lot more time to prepare for it, like on our end. And we definitely came through. Like I thought you knocked it out of the park. I thought me keeping it on track, certainly it went well. And we absolutely connected with Semmy.
Yeah, I think once again, history has been served by our podcast here because this is a guy that really accomplished an amazing amount in K1. Even the Wikipedia pages and stuff like that talk about him as an all-time great, in the conversation as the GOAT in K1, the 4 championships, et cetera, et cetera. And he really, he's a mild-mannered guy that said, yeah, I'll do an interview. There's not a lot of interviews. There's nothing like that out there where he's just talking frankly about his background, his training, his mindset. His mindset is what I think makes this interview because, as you pointed out in the interview a couple of times, it's like, there are certain spots where if you're looking, you can recognize champions. And that pops up with this guy, especially once he got over to K1 where they couldn't take him to the ground. But I'm eager to get him back for the MMA stuff. It sounds like it's going to be fun. I think we did have a good connection.
Yeah. And what do you think about that Dutch scene? Why? Everyone is, they were killing people in the corner, but I had my earbuds in. So I was in the bag too, so I didn't really get to see or hear it.
Yeah. You always hear, again, I'm just, extrapolating here, but you always hear the Vietnamese communities, the Chinese community, sometimes, especially in the underworld and the gangs and stuff, they kind of police themselves. They don't go to in the States, they don't run to the police and stuff like that. And I think that the Dutch scene is hermetic that way. It's if you were there, they don't tell you if you weren't there. You know what I mean? So there's not a lot of people talking. So maybe there's still some power behind it somewhere.
What I think we need to do is, because we've gone heavy Golden Glory side, we need to hit the Black Label side, because I guarantee they'd be more than willing to dish the dirt on Golden Glory.
Well, yeah, the interesting thing to me is I want to encourage. I hope Bas Boon is listening. I hope he'll come on the podcast. And Semmy hinted at it. I hope I hope he's home typing out his memoirs because those will be very, very interesting for us.
Here, you've got the owner of Golden Glory operating his business from a prison cell. And when he gets out, he has some issues, wants to get his peace back. And as Bas Rutten said, Bas had called him when, the car bomb went off. He was the last person he talked to before his car blew up.
Yeah, cars blowing up.
But Miguel, think about this. I'm gonna create a bomb, hook it up to your car, making sure everything is good. So then when you hit the starter on it, your car blows up, or I can just come over and shoot you. Do you know what I mean? I don't understand why you go through the length and issues of creating a bomb and, accessing somebody's car while hoping nobody sees you. I don't know, man. I don't know. It's a world I'll never understand.
Yeah, there weren't as many cameras around back in the 90s. Certainly not as there were today. I remember the old Charles Bronson movie, The Mechanic. Have you ever seen it?
No.
It's a scene with an older thief of cars and things and a younger thief. And the younger thief kills Charles Bronson. And the movie ends with the younger thief getting into his car, and he clicks the ignition, and Charles Bronson left the bomb to kill him. So they all got each other, and like I said, I think that's kind of like one of those things with the Dutch scene. I think that if you were there, that you sort of agreed to not talk about everything, for your own safety too. I think that's the other part of it is, I say facetiously, maybe there's some muscle still there. But you do never know. People hold grudges, sometimes forever, So you're already talking about dangerous people with a proclivity for violence, so keep yourself clean. I think, somebody can obviously take care of himself, but, that's only to a certain point. Things escalate real fast in the underworld,
Well, if you look at like the most popular podcasts here, like I've got a friend, Jeremy Bjornberg, promoter from Minnesota, loves the Italian podcast. Like, all the old school Mafia guys are now telling their stories. I mean, it's 24/7 on a lot of people's phones, and listening to it in their cars. What took place in Holland? You're not going to pretend to tell me what happened here was any bigger or larger than what was going on there, especially the tie-ins with the sports world. You're looking at a country significantly smaller, with much less people, yet the murder and mayhem associated with them, like Dirty Bob Schrijber. If you guys listen to Marlowe's Conan interview, our Bas Rutten interview, or our Gilbert Yvel interview, we run through the same list of people. With each, Bas Rutten was more open than anybody else. But when you talk about Dirty Bob Schrijber, they opened up the Bulldog Hash. Was it like the Bulldog Hash shop? Yeah, what's now the Red Light District. The smoke shop. The first one. You're talking about the first one that had to tell the police, screw you. First one to tell the politicians, we'll kill you. I mean, there had to be an immense amount of fear associated with stopping what was taking place on that store in order for everybody else to follow suit. Dirty Bob Schrijber was the original bouncer there.
I've been to that store.
Think about that. Like, you got to put your most feared guy at the front door that's going to suss out the police, or the cops are going to be afraid of him. And Freak Hammaker, who owned the Bulldog shop, is also involved with Golden Glory and a lot of the kickboxing scene in the Netherlands.
Yeah, I mean, the people from that underworld type of, throughout history, from that underworld type of, background, are drawn to, have a fascination for, and will spend money on fights. This goes back, to boxing at the turn of the century, and and before that as well. So
the bare knuckle bouts, like in the hay barrels, like on a hill somewhere, like they had thousands of people at those for sure.
Yes, and people with money that is earned sometimes, sometimes they find limitations in what they could use it on. And this sport, especially back then, was starving for money. So, if a fighter could get some support or whatever, I can see them taking a little cash and not asking too many questions about, what the guy does for a living and stuff like that. So, and Semmy, I think the thing about it is that English isn't his first language. So you kind of have to I mean, he's better than my Dutch, right? They're fabulously educated. I appreciate it. Plus, he's been hitting the head a lot, and he's doing great. So I'm not putting him down. But when it's your second language, you try to read through and I think he was trying to tell us something when he said he never took sponsors. There was a reason for that. There's a reason for that. You know what I mean?
He bounced one night and said, "Nah, I'm not doing this again."
No, they gave him $50. He saw, the money wasn't his thing. He's, probably raised with a family, middle class or something in that neighborhood. $50 didn't turn his boat on. But when somebody comes to you and go, hey, look, you won K1's, a K1 fight, you won your UFC fight, you've been winning in Pancrase. At the end of the day, we know probably at the beginning of his career, Pancrase, he was probably making $1,200 to $1,500 like everybody else coming over there. Especially a karate guy with an 0-0 record and stuff. That body, and they could get him cheap, and that's why they bought him over 20-something times. I think at Pancrase, he hadn't been paid yet. To turn down sponsors at that point, maybe, like I said, maybe he was smart. He said, yeah, just like that. And again, reading between the lines, those sponsors take baggage.
I tell you where we missed. Every episode, I always have a little bit of regret with every single episode.
But hopefully we get Semmy back.
We should. We had a good connection. I'll wait a week. I'll send another email. So I think he's got a case of the Jeremy horns. Like he said he had a bloody leg. I've never seen him with a bloody face. And now I haven't watched all his MMA. I've watched 90% of his K1 stuff. But because of his size and length, his head he absorbs very little damage to his head. And the first 2 times where he got cracked, he went out. 3, 4, 5, and 6 times, he was able to work through it and work past it. Like that guy's body is an absolute machine.
Yeah. He took care of himself. He mentioned his genetic gifts, he'd seen younger athletes with knee problems that now he's having knee problems. Almost everybody 7 feet tall, approaching 50 probably has some type of knee problems at some point. They're carrying a lot more weight than other people. And a guy with athleticism his whole time, he was blessed with genetics. And I think he recognized that in the interview as well, which is what I think all the Dutch guys bring is that healthy dose of realism. It's like, that's just the facts, He's 6'11", 260 pounds.
No, he's 300 pounds.
Yeah, well, yeah. In the UFC, he made the weight, but he's a huge man. He just never got hurt, never bled. So you're in a situation where he's a special body as a starting point. But the mind, I think, is what brought him there, because there are hundreds of big guys like that never amount to anything.
Yeah, and do you know who fought him in MMA? Jason Godsey.
Ooh.
So we got to get Jason sometime soon. I can't imagine showing up at weigh-ins and going, "Oh, you got to be kidding me."
Yeah. There's nothing, like he said when he fought giants too. Even Semmy is, it's interesting when he's got a giant in front of him because he couldn't find train. How do you train for that? So he brought that aspect to every fight. And I mentioned to him, and he thought it was, I saw him pause and think about it. But I think it is the case when you're a giant like that, like physically bigger than your opponents and stuff. It goes back to, you mentioned Rogan, a Rogan interview I saw with Jake Roberts, where Jake said when he worked with Andre the Giant, he just went 100%. Like he was really hitting somebody because the guy just took it. It didn't even phase the giant because he could absorb so much more. And I think that you have that. When you have a bigger guy, you tend to throw hard. I think he faces the best version because he's scary. And I think it works against him with the judges, maybe even with the crowd if they're rooting for the David and stuff like that. It's a lot of mental pressure in being the giant like that. So, more power to him. I think he was very composed and managed it super well throughout his career, especially with K1.
All right. I know we should have probably done this at the beginning, but it's at the end. Let's give our thank yous. The Underground Forum on MMA.tv. We sincerely appreciate all your support. Hong Kong Fooey. I was told by Wes Sims that you're the president over there and John Morgan should be thrown off of that site altogether and everything placed in your hands. Wes Sims, we talked several times a day. I have no doubt he's telling me the truth. Crowbar, DeVries Town, in our anybody in our comments. This is Josh Gage as well. He's in our comments quite a bit. Vegan Higgler on YouTube. We sincerely appreciate
a few people. Sly Stallone, was it Stallone? Somebody with that kind of name that was helping us out on Reddit, and then Wes Walters is helping us out on Reddit too.
Leslie Walters is helping us out on Reddit. Okay, so this is what happened on Reddit. Wes Walters, super busy guy. We all are. And he goes, all right, I think I got an idea. Let me work Reddit. He posts our video of Mike Brown talking about grappling, like rolling with Marcelo Garcia. Okay. That video we've had on our site for over a year now, just the clip of him talking about it. Within 24 hours, we had 600 downloads off of YouTube. So, like, every time I post on Reddit, they say, no, this is your content, you're spamming here, and they ban me from the forum. Even if it's, like, really interesting and relevant stuff, and like, I'm really not spamming, I'm just thinking, hey, this is, like, really good for a conversation. So I can't do it. Like, we're not allowed to post on Reddit, but when Wes Walters did it, he did it one time, one video, and we had like literally 600 views on one single video within a 24-hour time frame. So I don't know.
Yeah, we're trying to get our things together. We're grateful to everybody out there, even Genghis, who has been a loyal fan since the very beginning on the podcast. He used to do some of our transcripts for us. He hasn't been doing it lately, but he's not far from my heart as well. Shout out to Genghis Conrad and all the other guys out there, man. Thank you very much. It's what makes it worth doing.
Absolutely. Guys, we documented history. One more time, Miguel, that was a solid home run on that one. In documenting an aspect of combat sports, that's a first for us. I know we had Toby Almeida, but those were like shoot fighting events, I believe, or shoot. I don't know what it was.
You fought Bukau, so we have talked kickboxing style before, but Semmy Schilt, this was the first dedicated to K1. I think it's the right place to start with a legend. Thank you to him, obviously, for popping, and giving us 2 hours of that. And I'm going to correct you, Mike. I'm going to say this was a triple, and we need that single to get him in, and that single is that MMA return a couple hours to talk Pancrase and UFC stuff. He only has 2 UFC fights. But for the people who don't remember, and just a taste as we sign off here, he fought Fedor, Big Nog, and Josh Barnett, I believe, back to back to back. So
yeah, you know what? If you look at, there's like a short run in his MMA career, and I think there's also one more person tied into that. With somebody not wearing a title belt, it might be the most difficult run in MMA. Period. If you're wearing a title, that means you're fighting top tier guys. If you're not wearing a title and all you're getting is murderers like that, like you fought 3 world champions right in a row. But either way, Miguel, fantastic job, brother. Thank you. Love sitting in with you.
Check out the full interview on iTunes, Spotify, and all major podcast platforms.